Hey guys, Music Lover 93 here.
And Michael DeSisto, Music Lover 93's boyfriend.
And this is Music Facts-O-Rama, episode 29. As I said in the last episode, it's going to be different, and it's not going to be a karaoke video this time, which I'll definitely explain as we're done, finish it. We're going to do 5 facts again because it's going to be a short one again. This happened 55 years ago, last month, and we recently visited there not too long ago. That's right. It's about Woodstock, which it takes place in Bethel, New York, way back in 1969. So that's why we're going to be doing this, and we definitely took lots of pictures there that we went there at the museum. That's why we decided to do it to honor 55-year anniversary for it. And plus, we're going to do facts about this festival because it's music and arts festival. When we're done reading those facts, there's going to be some pictures I'm going to share before we decided to do something towards the end of this one. So, I got those 5 facts ready, and if we're going to do more of the music facts video, we'll be going back to 10 if there's more famous people like that. So, let's get on with it, shall we? Okay, fact number 1. Early in 1969, Roberts and Rosamond were New York City entrepreneurs who were in the process of building Media Sound, a recording studio complex in Manhattan. Long and Cornfield's lawyer, Miles Laurie, who had done legal work on the Media Sound project, suggested that they contact Roberts and Rosamond about financing a similar but much smaller studio, Cornfield, that Long hoped to build in Woodstock, New York. Not surprised about that, but there's more, and I'm going to talk about this one. Unpersuaded by this studio in the woods proposal, Roberts and Rosamond proposed a concert featuring the kind of artists known to frequent the Woodstock area, such as Bob Dylan and the band. I love Bob Dylan.
Same here. Bob Dylan is definitely one of the great singers.
Yeah, definitely a great folk singer in the 60s. Cornfield and Long agreed to the new plan, and Woodstock Ventures was formed in January 1969. The company offices were located in an oddly decorated floor of 47 West 57th Street in Manhattan. Burt Cohen and his design group, Curtain Call Productions, oversaw the psychedelic transformation of the office. Yeah, so this is where the beginning, where they wanted to have this idea when they wanted to do Woodstock, including the festival. It's right in the beginning, how this is really going to happen. The next one, they're just going to prepare something that'll be in the next one.
Alright, here's fact number 2, folks. In April 1969, Creedence Clearwater Revival became the first act to sign a contract for the event, agreeing to play for $10,000, equivalent to $83,000 in 2023. The promoters had experienced difficulty in landing big-name groups until Creedence committed to play. Creedence drummer Doug Clifford later commented, "Once Creedence signed, everyone else jumped in line and all the other big acts came on." Given their 12:30 start time and omission from the Woodstock film, at Creedence frontman John Fogerty's insistence, Creedence members have expressed bitterness over their experiences regarding the festival. Woodstock was conceived as a profit-making venture. It became a free concert when circumstances prevented the organizers from installing fences and ticket booths before opening day. Tickets for the 3-day event cost US $18 in advance and $24 at the gate, equivalent to about $150 and $200 today. Ticket sales were limited to record stores in the greater New York City area, or by mail via a post office box at the Radio City Station post office located in Midtown Manhattan. Around 186,000 advance tickets were sold.
So this is where they prepared the festival. And this is exactly what was gonna happen there. Well, it will get to it in just a second. I forgot to mention in the beginning is I also wear this same shirt when we get to the festival. I'm sure you wore the same shirt about that as well, I think. I forgot to mention again that that this is the first time in a very long time that it was recorded, in my webcam and also my mic ever since we did the facts about Elton John. That's why I mentioned about something different. So my apologies for wasted a little time on that one, and I should have said it right in the beginning. But anyway, we'll get to fact number 3, and this is where where the festival was planned there. So fact number 3. The original plan was for the festival to take place in the town of Woodstock on the site owned by Alexander Tapus. After local residents rejected that idea, Long and Cornfield thought they had found another possible location at the Winston Farm in Saugerties, New York.
Where we live.
Yep, that's where we currently live, right there.
Nice.
But they were mistaken, as the landowner's attorney made clear in a brief meeting with Roberts and Rosamond. Growing alarmed at the lack of progress, Roberts and Rosamond took over the search for a venue and discovered the 300-acre Mills Industrial Park in the town of Wallkill, New York, which Woodstock vendors leased for about $10,000, equivalent to $83,000 today. Wow. It's definitely a lot of money. In the spring of 1969, town officials were assured that no more than 50,000 would attend. Town residents immediately opposed the project. In early July, the town board passed a law requiring a permit for any gathering of over 5,000 people. Definitely a lot of people were at that festival. The conditions upon which a permit would be issued made it impossible for the promoters to continue construction at the Wallkill site. Reports of the ban, however, turned out to be a publicity bonanza for the festival. Yeah, this is true what that really happened. And speaking of where the festival takes place, including where the museum is, which is located in Bethel, it's actually an hour and a half away from where we live. When we get there.
It's not bad at all.
And speaking of Bethel, this is where it's going to mention when we get to the next one. And for the last 2 facts, it's going to be longer this time.
Okay. Fact number 4. The influx of people to the rural concert site in Bethel created a huge traffic jam. The town of Bethel did not enforce its codes, fearing chaos as crowds flowed to the site. Radio and television descriptions of the traffic jams eventually discouraged people from setting off to the festival. Arlo Guthrie made an announcement that was included in the film saying that the New York State Thruway was closed, although the director of the Woodstock Museum said that this did not happen. To add to the problems and difficulty in dealing with the large crowds, recent rain had created muddy roads and fields.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Not at all. The facilities were not adequate to provide sanitation or first aid for the number of people attending, and hundreds of thousands found themselves in a struggle against bad weather, food shortages, and poor sanitation. On the morning of Sunday, August 17th, New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller called festival organizer John P. Roberts and told him that he was thinking of ordering 10,000 National Guard troops to the festival site, but Roberts persuaded him not to. Sullivan County declared a state of emergency. During the festival, personnel from nearby Stewart Air Force Base helped to ensure order and airlifted performers in and out of the site. Jimi Hendrix was the last to perform at the festival taking the stage at 8:30 Monday morning after delays caused by the rain. By that point, the audience members had fallen to about 30,000 from an estimated peak of 450,000. Many left during Hendrix's performance, having waited to catch a glimpse of him. Hendrix and his new band Gypsy Sun and Rainbows were introduced as The Experience, but he corrected this and added, "You could call us a band of gypsies."
That was really interesting to know. But yeah, this is where they hailed out from the Stewart Air Force Base, which is located in Newburgh. Yeah, this is how many people were there at that festival, especially when there's like famous people including Arlo Guthrie, Jimi Hendrix, you name it. Now, as for the last fact, this is something that there were sad things that happened during the festival, and after this happened, I'm also going to talk about the sound, where the festival is sounded like when it comes to certain speakers, because we know it's a loud one. But first, we just want to get to that one when it really happened here. So, the last one, fact number 5. The festival was remarkably peaceful given the number of people and the conditions involved, although there were 3 recorded fatalities, 2 drug overdoses, and another cause when a tractor ran over a 17-year-old sleeping in a nearby hayfield. It was definitely looked like an accident because it looked like sounds like he's intoxicated when this happened. He fell asleep and he got ran over by a tractor. He got killed. It's pretty sad. Births were claimed to have occurred. One in a car caught in traffic and another in hospital after an airlift by helicopter. But extensive research by a book author could not confirm any births. Several miscarriages were reported. Sources range from 4 to 8. And over the course of the 3 days, were there 742 drug overdoses. Sound for the concert was engineered by sound engineer Bill Hanley. This is where how the sound works for the festival. It worked very well, he said of the event. I built special speaker columns on the hills and had 16 loudspeaker arrays in the square platform going up to the hill on the 70-foot towers. Wow, that was definitely tall, right? We set it up for 150,000 to 200,000 people. Of course, 500,000 showed up. Altec designed marine plywood cabinets that weighed half a ton apiece and stood 6 feet tall, almost 4 feet deep, and 3 feet wide. Holy shit, it's definitely long and definitely deep. Well, 4 feet is really not that deep, honestly. Each of these enclosures carried 5-inch GBL D140 loudspeakers. The tweeters consisted of 4x2 cell and 2x10 cell Altec horns. It's definitely loud. Lighting for the concert was engineered by lighting designer and technical director E.H. Beresford. Chip Monk was hired to plan and build the staging and lighting. 10 weeks of work, for which he was paid $7,000 to $58,000 today. Definitely a lot of money. Much of his plan had to be scrapped when the promoters were not allowed to use the original location in Wallkill, New York. The stage roof was constructed in the short time available was not to support the lighting that had been rented, which wound up sitting unused underneath the stage. The only light on the stage was from the spotlights. Yeah, this is how the sound really happens for this festival. As I said earlier, why I have this one gonna be like this instead of my regular camera. This is actually gonna be us watching a video for how, about the Woodstock and knowing more facts about it, and it also include the top 5 video, which is really not that long of a video. Before I get started on that, here's a couple of pictures I'd like to show about the list of artists and bands performed. Well, first the performers, and then most of the list of performers that's performed, like located in White Lake and also Walk Hill. Take a look at this. Okay, so with that being said, let's watch the video, and this is how it's really gonna happen around Woodstock about, this one. And this is called Top 5 Greatest Moments of Woodstock. It's just something positive or something like that. Let's take a look at this, shall we?
Yes, we shall. Enjoy. Let's enjoy the video.
Woodstock was an historic music festival held in August in 1969. It became a symbol of the counterculture movement and a defining moment in the 1960s. The festival drew an unexpected crowd of around 300,000 people and featured iconic performances from the legendary artists of the day. Despite logistical challenges, including heavy rain that turned the grounds into mud, Woodstock maintained a peaceful...
Yep, this is how it really happened, like we mentioned earlier.
Embodying the spirit of peace, love, and unity. The event is remembered for its cultural
Imagine the feet getting dirty.
significance and as a representation of the ideals of the 1960s counterculture. It had many highlights, representing
Jimi
charismatic
Hendrix.
performers, meaning it is difficult to rank any of them. Nevertheless, that is what we have tried to do in this video, where we look at the top 5 greatest moments of Woodstock.
Yep, it's Sly and the Family Stone. We definitely know them from the late 60s.
Michael Lang, the organizer of the festival, called this the best performance of the entire event. Coming at 3:30 in the morning, the group played a magnetic, funky, soulful, rocking set, which was undoubtedly a peak of the festival. This was Sly and the Family Stone at their best. They fired all guns at once, with the electricity they created on stage being enough to have powered a city. Their instrumentation, vocal back and forth, and interaction with the crowd served as a textbook example of how to perform live. Though this set wasn't as political as others, such as Country Joe and the Fish or Jimi Hendrix, it nevertheless represented a key element to the festival and the hippie movement in general. Living in the moment, side by side with your fellow humans, enjoying a scintillating musical performance from some of the greats.
Yep, I know Joe Cocker. The Beatles inspired him, I believe.
Because that was mainly a Beatles song.
That's a good cover that Joe Cocker did.
Covering the Beatles is no mean feat, especially during their heyday in the swinging 60s. However, that is exactly what a relatively unknown Joe Cocker did at Woodstock. Despite their lowly status at the time, the Sheffield-born bluesman showed no signs of this and performed with a soulful swagger that catapulted him and his band to new heights. After a well-received, emotional set, the group closed with a cover of the Beatles' A Little Help from My Friend, turning the jangly pop ditty into an anthemic soul masterpiece, with Paul McCartney later saying, "Joe totally turned this song into a soul anthem, and I was forever grateful to him for doing that." The lyrics and performance captured the positive, idealistic spirit of the festival, and for that reason it sits on our list.
And we didn't forget Jefferson Airplane, including the lead singer Grace Slick.
Another great band right there.
One of the fascinating elements of Woodstock was its scheduling, or apparent lack of. Unlike modern festivals, where they are conducted like military operations, Woodstock simply wasn't like that. Overwhelmed with the unexpected enormity of the festival, the bad weather, and other logistical issues, performances would go on throughout the whole 3 days, whether it was in the early hours of the morning or the dead of night. This is the experience that Jefferson Airplane had when they took to the stage in front of a sleepy crowd at 8 a.m. Undeterred, however, the group reinvigorated the crowd like the sunrise with an explosive performance, including hits like Somebody to Love, White Rabbit, Saturday Afternoon, and Volunteers.
We know Somebody to Love and White Rabbit are their popular songs.
24 hours straight by the time they performed.
Yeah, I love the song Somebody to Love. That's my favorite from them.
Can you imagine modern pop acts doing this today?
That must be Grace Slick. That is some hair she got there. What's the style back then, I believe, yeah.
Oh.
So Country Joe McDonald.
At number 2 is the famous or infamous, depending on how you look at it, Fuck Cheer by Country Joe McDonald, which saw the musician conduct a back and forth with the 300,000 strong audience spelling out the word fuck, creating arguably one of the most iconic moments of the festival. Often, as is the case with great moments, this was largely unplanned, as Country Joe was not due to perform until much later. However, due to scheduling issues, he was asked at the last minute to perform an impromptu acoustic set to keep the crowd entertained whilst waiting for the next band to arrive. Playing a string of his most notable songs, Country Joe would later remark the crowd weren't paying him much attention.
As you can see,
Nevertheless, this would
this
all
is
change
definitely
when the singer
not
roared,
appropriate for kids. That's why they don't do it at all ages.
Give me a U! Give me a C! Give me a K! What's that spell? What's that spell? What's that spell? What's that spell? What's that spell?
That is some audience right there when he does something like this.
As you can see, this woke the crowd up, and his performance ended with a standing ovation. Though saying fuck has become normalized in today's world, at the time it was still a huge taboo, and the fact we have become so desensitized to it is perhaps due to this legendary moment.
I believe they used the word fuck back in 1969.
The spirit
I'm not so sure would they really stir that before that, or any of the swear words.
Yeah. Number 1, Jimi Hendrix, The Star-Spangled Banner.
Yeah, the famous Jimi Hendrix, who
As
did
the headline performer and
the national
insisted he
anthem.
would close the festival, when Jimi Hendrix took to the stage, the 300,000 strong crowd, soaked and exhausted, had more than halved in size. Undeterred, however, Hendrix would play an explosive set, cementing himself as arguably the greatest musician in America. Along with his
He
usual
is.
brilliant numbers,
It's a shame what
his
happened to
rendition
him.
of the
Such a
Star-Spangled
young age he
Banner
died.
that is most remembered, and for good reason. Hendrix turned the musical piece from an all-American traditional standard to a melancholic ode to the fallen and the tragedy of war, giving voice to the pain and hope that mingled in the air, providing a snapshot of a nation torn apart but united by a collective desire for change. The guitarist, being a former member of the 101st Airborne Division in the American Paratroopers, gives extra poignancy to this sobering moment. For his technical mastery, originality, and the emotion behind this musical statement, we have no choice but to put this at number 1, a truly iconic moment. Woodstock occurred in the dying breaths of the 1960s, and in many ways the counterculture movement itself. Although its message spread across the world, continuing to do so to this day, it's never been quite the same. With this in mind, Woodstock was the perfect send-off for a truly magical era. So there's our list. Do you agree with it, or would you put other moments on it instead?
Here's the pictures.
Thank you for joining us at Canned History. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more, then like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay, this is the video that we're watching here. Made the top 10 list. It's part of the, the greatest moments of Woodstock. So, I believe the music was, you know, 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 the musi there's gonna be another video about Woodstock when we get to the next one, because I just figured the one that's like 10 minutes long, we just don't want to go for the longer one, because for this particular episode, we just wanted to do it for like as a less watch video, especially like, a watch video or something like that. But we'll do another when we get to the next one. So thank you guys for watching this episode. This is Music Lover 93 signing out.
Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.